Welcome. My name is Oscar Garcia. I'm the Executive Vice President of Luxon Global. Today you're going to learn about merchant services, but most importantly, you're going to see a business model that's never been shown to the public. A business model that can really help you and all your business contacts lower cost and increase revenue. The goal of Luxon Global was to always impact the world in a certain way. Disruptive technologies. That's what changes the world. In our own special way, we're doing that. We're going to change the world with what you're going to see. At the end of this video, you can contact the person that invites you over and you can ask them very specific questions. But more importantly, you can see how you can participate in this evolution of merchant services. I thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to meeting you in the future. All right, so let's explain merchant services. I think one of the biggest things that you need to know is why we chose merchant services and how merchant services works. Now, Visa, MasterCard is accepted in every business in the world. It works the same way all over the world. So I'm going to show you how this works. First of all, Visa, MasterCard provides services to what we call a level 1 provider. That's a provider that does 6 million transactions in 1 month. They provide services for MSPs, ISOs. These individuals have to pay $15,000 and more to Visa, MasterCard and actually get qualified to offer Visa, MasterCard services. These individuals have sales reps, and those individuals actually go out there and obtain merchant accounts. Now, what happens after that? These are merchant accounts like a coffee shop. These are merchant accounts just like a gasoline station or grocery store. When we come in as consumers to those merchant accounts, we literally give our Visa, MasterCard to those businesses, and they swipe. What happens after they swipe? There's a mechanism called a gateway. This gateway actually takes the transaction and communicates with a banking system, and in this case, my bank, Oscar Garcia's bank, and they say, does Oscar have money, yes or no? If the answer is yes, I get an approval. If the answer is no, I get a decline. But let's say I got an approval. What actually happens? Well, if I bought $100 worth of merchandise from this merchant, do they get the full $100? No, they don't. They get something minus a percentage. In this case, let's use 5%. So they get $95 out of the $100 that they charged me. Where did the rest of the money go? There's a percentage that goes to the sales rep, a percentage that goes to the MSP, a percentage that goes to the level 1 provider, and a percentage that goes to Visa, MasterCard, as well as the gateway. So as you can see, there's money generated up here by simply providing the merchant account. Now, the underwriters and the merchant processors take the risk, because if that business ever goes out of business, this client can do a reverse charge up to 6 months. So that's why they're being charged a percentage to actually do transactions to Visa, MasterCard. Now on the web, it's even more complicated. On the web, you have websites, you have web development, you have shopping carts, and then you have a merchant account, and then you still need a gateway. So there's more moving parts on the web than there is on physical businesses. What if? What if you can find a company that was not only the level 1 provider, not only the MSP, not only the sales rep, but also owned all the internet mechanisms? We own all the gateway. Luxon has cut out all the middleman and made sure that we can reduce the rates of any merchant account out there. We actually only add 0.20 above Visa, MasterCard. That is called interchange. We only add a 20th of a percent or 20 basis points. Now, how does that work? I want to go into why or how much money there is in merchant services. Remember, we're going to talk about 3 things. The first thing was what we just mentioned, merchant account industry. Now let's talk about how much money there is in merchant account industry, and then we'll talk about how we're revolutionizing the merchant industry. Well, the amount of money you can make here is depending on the amount of transactions that are being done on a monthly basis. Let's say you bring in a business that does $1 million a month. Let's say, just for sake of an example, they're being charged 5%, 3 to 5% for their merchant account. Some businesses get charged more, some businesses get charged less. So in this scenario, they're spending $50,000 per month on a $1 million monthly transaction. Above and beyond that, we can actually save them money. Now remember, we only add 0.20 above Visa MasterCard. Can we offer them that rate? Yes. Do we want to? In this case, no. Because we don't know how much of a high-risk merchant they are. We can actually offer them, let's say 1%. That's above our rate, but that's below theirs. So in this theoretical example, we can bring down their cost to $10,000. It's just a theoretical example. What do you get? Well, in this example, you can qualify to get 50% of all the profit of that merchant account, which is $5,000 month in and month out, constantly. There's no qualification. So we want to make sure you see the importance that there is money on merchant services. The problem is that it takes 90 days traditionally in the industry to make money. 30 days to get the contract, 30 days to actually do the transactions, and 30 days to actually get paid on your first payment. How do you alleviate that? We came up with software that actually offers the merchant better scenarios for their business. We came up with a way where we can give them value-added software to have them switch services, not just because we lower the rate, but because we give them a platform to increase their business. We have web software that can take a physical business and turn them to an online business within 4 minutes. This web software gives them a website, gives them a shopping cart, gives them a affiliate program, a coupon, a voucher program, all within 4 minutes. Above and beyond that, we give them SEO services that will increase their traffic on Google. Above and beyond that, we give them fulfillment of products and services they may not have, but they want to offer, and we can drop ship for them on these products and services all over the nation. So we offer a complete package. Now, traditionally, you're spending $5,000 to $70,000 on a website. On SEO, you're spending $3,000. On fulfillment, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Because we have a new patent-pending technology, we can turn a provider of these services on for less than $1,000. So you can have a business that offers merchant services, e-commerce services, marketing services, and fulfillment services, all for under the price of a website. How does this work? Well, that kind of helps us solve the problem of the 90-day scenario here as we put up on the board. See, the scenario here is you need cash flow for 90 days to go out there and get a physical merchant account. And the way we've done that is we've been able to turn on any business entrepreneur into a real merchant simply by having a certain criteria. That criteria is you need a bank account, you need a voided check, you need an ID, you need a social or a tax ID number as well, you need a domain name. And we don't sell those. You can go to any provider for domain names. What else did we miss? And a FICO score of 500 or better. FICO score of 500 is very low. But as long as you meet the minimums, we can actually give you a merchant account that can deposit money into your bank account in 48 hours. Now, what does that do for you? Well, two scenarios here. You can go out there and get merchant accounts on your own, or you can go out there and start building a business association similar to the Chamber of Commerce. And these business associations can grow and you can actually benefit from them. For instance, if you bring in someone to your business association that buys the software for $1,000, we can actually give you 20% earnings directly to your bank account in 48 hours. That's a $200 deposit that happens to your bank account. Now that's if you bring in someone personally. What happens if they start growing the network? Just like any social media platform, they will grow virally. And when they bring in someone to the network, you can actually pick up a 3% override, which is equal to $30, up to 5 generations deep in your organization. And if you want more than that, put in another personal referral and get another 5 generations deep underneath that personal referral. Now all of these earnings are paid in 48 hours. Why? Because you own a merchant account. Why? Because we actually have the gateway that can do the split funding with this. Now, the third way that we get paid is a 6% multi-channel unit bonus. What does that mean? That means when you build 2 vertical markets and you start building businesses in your community and start helping them get merchant accounts and get web services, every time you match these businesses, you can get an additional $60 per business every time you match up. Now, that has a limit of $5,000 a day. Now, that's quite a bit. But that solves the scenario of having cash flow so you can actually go out there and get a merchant account and not have to worry that you get paid in 90 days. So how do we do that? We do that because we want the 4th, 5th, and 6th ways to get paid. We're more excited about these ways. The first way is what we mentioned here, that you can pick up a 50% override on all the merchant profits that we make on the merchant transactions. So in this case, if we make theoretically 1% off of a merchant and we're making $10,000, you're actually picking up 50%, which is $5,000. But what happens if you weren't the individual that got the account? Let me erase this and let me wrap up this presentation by showing you the value of the merchant portfolio. If you had a gentleman that actually did this and he was making $5,000 because he brought in that account, you can actually generate a 10% override on everything he does. So that means you're making $1,000 for that $10,000 merchant account simply because he brought in the account. But what happens to this individual? They can get a 3% override, which is equal to $300, and you can get a 3% override, which is equal to $300. Why do I bring that up? Because the final way we get paid is merchant portfolios. Merchant portfolios pay out the most amount of money in this industry. And I want to explain this. Merchant portfolios work because we can combine all of our efforts. Now, I want to erase this right now. And I want to move this example of making $10,000 and actually making $5,000 out of that $10,000 because we actually generated in this theoretical example of 1% profit. But see, we can actually work as a team, work as a business association, that if we can bring in 10,000 accounts together, we can actually generate a merchant portfolio that can be sold to the banks. Let me explain this. The average business out there does $10,000 a month in transactions. Not $1 million, but 10,000. So let's say we go on the low end and we do, in this example, $100 million in transaction as an association. If we use the same 1% example, we can make $1 million profit every month, month in and month out. That's kind of included with what you were making here if you brought in the account. But see, we can sell that profit to the banks for up to 30 times earnings for physical businesses. We get more for medical. We get less for .com. But in this example, if we can just focus on physical businesses, we're talking about a dry cleaners, we're talking about a small grocery store, a swap meet shop, a salon girl, anything that's a business, speaker industries. We can actually generate a huge merchant portfolio worth about $30 million in this scenario. $30 million. You can go out there and try to get 10,000 accounts yourself as an individual, and it will take you 5 to 6 years. Or you can build a business association that can bring in the accounts faster. What does that mean? That means when you are generating $5,000 and we sell the merchant portfolio, theoretically, we have to now pay you $150,000 for that account. If you brought in the individual that was doing that and you were making $1,000, theoretically, we have to now pay you $30,000 bonus because he brought in the account. If you were the individual that brought the individual, try to follow me there, you theoretically will make $9,000 when we sell the portfolio. This is powerful. Imagine having a business association of hundreds of thousands of people all bringing in one real merchant account, all doing a transaction. And we build a portfolio that we can sell to the secondary market, and you can get a percentage of the millions of dollars in that portfolio. That's what Lucas on Global is doing. That's why we're excited. Get together with the person that invited you over, have them answer your questions, and I'm looking forward to meeting you someday. Thank you very much.